Hey there, fellow adult collectors. Welcome back. Davey Dion here with another virtual video unboxing, this time taking a look at the SW toys. So we're talking bootleg territory here. SW toys 1/6 scale Joaquin Phoenix Joker, which is actually supposed to be a very high quality 6 scale bootleg. It's not a knockoff. I know some people use that term interchangeably, but this is a technical bootleg. And we picked this up at RetroCon, November RetroCon this past weekend. And this is for LPH, of course. Because she's been waiting forever and a day.
Yeah, for 1/6 scale, and I was waiting for Hot Toys to do it. And I kept saying, as soon as I buy a bootleg, Hot Toys is going to come up with one. So now they'll come up with one, and it'll be a 2-pack. It'll be him in the outfit like this, and then they'll have one as him dressed as Arthur Fleck. And then they'll come out with a bunch of different ones, him in a clown uniform. I mean, they're going to come out with a ton now that I have a bootleg.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get every one.
But yeah, there is the unofficial bootleg Joaquin Phoenix 1/6 scale Joker, Arthur Fleck Joker there, and just a sleeve,
Yeah,
on almost a shoebox style here. Not spectacular packaging, but the packaging's decent nevertheless. And what we're going to do is go ahead and get him out of here so that you can have a good look at him. And I'm going to lay him and all of the accessories out on the Lazy Susan. Let me just point this out real quick here before we get that far. There is an insert inside the box so that you can pull that out like that. And then you've got a sort of a stage cardboard backdrop.
yeah. For when he was at the
On the
like
show.
the Tonight Show or whatever he was on.
Yeah. So if you wanted to stand him in front of that, you have that option. So it's a nice little piece. And this probably actually, yeah, went this way. So when you pulled him out of the package, this would be like that,
Yeah, most likely
inside the
that's how it
box.
was.
So it was in this box in reverse. But of course, it's probably been opened and closed a couple of times since we bought it at the show. So that should go there inside of the box in the sleeve. But we're going to go ahead and break him down out of there and stand him up on the Lazy Susan, take a look at him and the accessories, test his articulation and all of that. So let's fade away. And here we go with our Arthur Fleck out of the box, and we'll go ahead and take a good close look at him and spin him around, and then we'll take a look at the accessories in better detail. So we check him out. Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker's story, if you will. Which, you know, the Joker has always been a mystery. They never really told you who he was. Although there's been some suggestions from DC Comics, but
I think this writer and director and this team did a good job of giving him a backstory, giving you an origin of who Arthur Fleck is, and you know where he came from, how he got the way he is. So I like what they did to it. I think Joaquin Phoenix brought a good look to him and told the story well. I think he played him very well, extremely well. One of my favorites. I still like Heath Ledger. I still like what's his Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
Because they all brought something different. I like Joaquin Phoenix's version of it and what he did. But an overall impression, what do you get from when you just first glance?
The figure, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he looks all right so far.
Yeah,
But you know, it's
overall impression, you just get a look and it's like, oh, okay, that's not bad. I think the color of the clothes could have been a little brighter.
brighter.
A little brighter red, but I know that fabric, and it's a cheap fabric that they use, but they did a good job of the detail in the sewing. Oh, sorry, the detail in the sewing. Like if you look here at the jacket and how they, sewed these little fine lines for the pockets, and they gave it the details in there. They put a lining in it. That's nice. And some little snaps for a button. I don't know if they actually work.
Probably not. It
No,
doesn't look
because it's
like it.
not on both sides.
We'll go ahead and take a look at some of the accessories, and then we'll move on to the figure himself. And it is a ball hugger stand, and you already know how I feel about that. I do not like these stands because most figures, 6 scale and 12 scale, tend to be very top heavy, and so they fall over. He does come with a cigarette. Let's see if I can get that even in focus, because it's so tiny. It keeps wanting to focus on my fingers instead of the cigarette. It's basically just a piece of paper that's printed like a cigarette and they rolled it up. You can see the seam right there. But I guess that will do for its purpose, because he did smoke. It's a nice touch. He has a revolver, and it is die cast. This has some weight to it. It is not functional outside of the fact that the cylinder does in fact turn, but the trigger, the hammer, none of that works. It does have a hole, so it looks decent enough as far as an accessory revolver. A couple of gripping hands, I imagine. Good color scheme on it, and you can see veins and tendons, and you can see the fingernails. Not too much detail, but that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I've seen hand sculpts where the detail is just surprising. Like I just recently did a Big Chief Studios John Pertwee, and the hands on that, the fingernails were even actually manicured. They put that much detail into it. Couple of what looks like a gripping hand, probably for the flowers, even though the hand that's on him has a hole through it where the flowers can fit in. But this looks also like it could be for the flowers, and this is obviously a trigger finger hand. And I will test the wrist change outs too, because those holes look kind of small. That always makes me nervous with 6 scale figures. And it does come with a couple of replacement wrist joints, and whatever those are. There's a couple of little beads there. I wonder if those are buttons for something. Maybe replacement shirt buttons floating around on the bottom there. 2 other head sculpts. A smiling head sculpt, because the head sculpt that is on the figure is the running makeup, like he's crying look, sculpted hair, and you can see the seam. I can see the seam across the top there, so they did not do a very good job covering that up. Painted neck, but not the plug. The plug is not painted. They put something in his eyes to give it a little bit of reflection or a little bit of wetness. You can kind of see that. So they did all right with the paint. application. Just that, like I said, I noticed the seam there. A Joaquin head sculpt. Good sculpting detail in the hair. They did a better job hiding the seam on this one. It's got a little bit of a sheen or wetness to it. And again, the same effect in the eyes. And a little bit of painted on 5 o'clock shadow there. The mask. Not hard to get this right. Not hard to get it right, and it is a functional mask. There is an elastic. You could make him wear it if you wanted to, like that. And finally, the flowers, the bouquet. I don't know how movie accurate that is, but just some little like dollhouse flowers wound up into a bouquet. Now we'll go ahead and take them off and get a better look at him in detail. This is the mascara running, crying eyes. Same effect in the eye paint where it's got a shine to it. Trying to catch that reflection so you can see what I'm talking about. Same shiny effect in the hair. Good sculpting detail in the hair. And they did a better job hiding the seam in this one too. So it's just that one where the seam isn't very well done. Side to side, there's really not much in the way of tilt or forward and backward movement, because the whole neck is essentially a plug. And yeah, obviously those were replacement buttons for the shirt. I guess they're just kind of glued on or sticky on. But yeah, that neck's not going to move around very much. Side to side only. Arms up. Suit bunches quite a bit. Double jointed elbow, that's good. It's a little awkward because of the thickness of the clothing, because the shirt goes all the way through. You can see it in there. So he's not wearing like the funeral shirt here. Goes all the way down. Simulated buttons on the sleeve. I think they are, yeah, if you can look on the inside of that cuff there, they go all the way through. So the shirt buttons are not likely to come off. The jacket buttons are also stitched on. So that's a nice touch. They've got spots for where the buttons would go in, but they do not go all the way through. They're not functional buttons, they're just made to look like they are. Pockets. Let me find something here real quick. Not functional pockets. The pockets do not actually work. He does have a lining. The vest is proper. It is Velcro. But the vest also has a lining and nice stitching detail inside there too, actually. The shirt looks good. The collar's been ironed incorrectly and it's pretty stiff, so I don't know if that can be fixed. Velcro shirt, right? Oh no, it's stitched at the collar. So it's got a Velcro closure for the shirt, but then the collar is stitched. So you'd have to break the stitch in order to take the shirt off if you wanted to, if you wanted to open it. Side to side. Minimal movement side to side. Ab crunch. Doesn't seem to be one. It feels like a solid torso piece. I don't think there's a... oh, there is. There is a bend at the upper portion of the torso. But the ab crunch is minimal as a result. Backward. Pants is his shirt. Look what they did. It's a leotard. Look at that. So they connected it through to keep the. Well, I mean, I get it. It's going to guarantee that his shirt's going to stay on.
Yeah.
But he's essentially wearing a leotard, and it went up the hard way, guys, because he doesn't have underwear on. So that's got to hurt. Not a fan of the Velcro, but you know. Functional belt loops and no belt. Pants pockets are real pockets. So the pants pockets are real. You can put something in there, but not the other pockets. Rear pockets. So I get all the way around here. I don't think the rear pockets are real, just the front pockets. Splits. Joaquin don't want to do no splits. Arthur Fleck doesn't dance like that. All right, he goes about that far. Might split better in a seated position. Not really. It feels really stiff in the hip. You can actually hear it creaking there. Backwards, no. Forwards, all the way up. Oh, you hear it clicking. Mm-hmm. It's one of those. Clicks in the knees. He can 22 skidoo. Wow, those are really tight knee joints. Guess he won't be doing much though. Very rudimentary looking body you see there. See how exposed that is. He's got socks on. The socks are not real because you can see that the shoe is the foot. Look down in there. Mm-hmm. So they put a simulated sock, and it goes right into an ankle plug that is connected directly to the shoe. So it's not a real shoe, although it looks like you got some pretty decent ankle rotation there. No calf rotation, so it's just here. And that's your overall articulation. Impressions?
The overall impression, just like if you walk into the room and see it, I think it looks okay.
Yeah.
You know, when you just walk up on it.
And while she's talking, I'll go ahead and try a couple of hand and head change outs just to see how that looks. But
I wish the suit was a little brighter, a brighter color. I do like the detail they did with the sewing. The lining, the buttons, the buttonhole, the pockets. Because that's a lot of work to do, especially in that small scale. To do the seams on the pockets and stuff, even though it's not functional, it's still a lot of work to get it done. So I like what they did there, even with the belt loop. I wish it had a belt, but that's not that big of a deal. The coloring is consistent with the coloring on the movie. You know, he had on the red suit, the mustard colored vest, and the teal shirt. So that looks good. The shoes, everything, I like all that about it. So the general impression, again, is if you just see it from across the room or you're walking by, you'll be like, oh, okay. And you can recognize it. The face sculpt, I think, is recognizable. So you'll be like, oh, okay, that's the Arthur Fleck Joker or Joaquin Phoenix Joker, you know. And that's hard to get in.
yeah, that hedge. There we go. I think I got it. Okay. The head change out was not easy. I think the shoulders, they put... Did he have shoulder pads?
I don't
recall, because it seems kind of bunchy at the shoulders. But you know, there's your head change out again. It's real stiff side to side only for the head change out. Oh yeah, bicep rotation. There we go. Very stiff again, but I just wanted to make sure that it did have a bicep rotation. Rating.
For what, the general impression?
Yeah, do you want to try to rate it, or
For overall, just general impression, I think for my general impression, I think I'll give it a good. It's a little better than good. It's between good and excellent.
so like a 3
Yeah, if it's on a scale of 1 to
overall
10,
impression?
1 to 5, I'll give it a 4.
A 4? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, just looking at it, not touching it, you see it on the shelf or you know, somewhere just standing out by itself, and you just look at it, just general, you know, not a detailed like strong look. You just like, oh, okay, yeah. Then, you know, general impression. Yeah, I'll say a 4. What about you?
I don't know. I think they could have done a much better job with it. I
Okay.
found it's the head sculpt. Well, the head change out was difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the stand. I always hate those stands. And then it looks like something is supposed to go there, and there's nothing there.
I wonder if a
Yeah.
nameplate is, but then they didn't give us.
They
a
didn't give you a
nameplate,
nameplate.
I
So
don't
it's
know.
like, it looks like something could go there and doesn't. The head change out I found difficult. The body is kind of stiff and rudimentary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's got some posability. This isn't too easy either. Getting the hands, at least they provided you with replacement wrists for in
Yeah.
case something goes wrong. Just wanted to see if I could put the
Posability, I'll
cigarette in
say
there.
is basic.
About a basic. So like
Yeah,
a 3.
Yeah, because you know it is tight, but then I guess it's better to be tight than loose, and then it's just flopping all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then for me, I'm not about to pose it. I'm gonna put it in a
Yeah.
nice stance,
Static pose.
and it's gonna just be like that. So in that regards, I think, but just watching you move it, listening to all of the creaks and the cricks and seeing how tight it is, I'll say it's a basic. But I do know it's limited because of the clothing. It is soft, good clothing, so that gives it like, you know, it kind of bunches things up and makes it harder to move.
I'd like to be able to see this shirt coming through more too. I know that's not easy, but you know, pull it through to cover up these exposed wrist joints a little better.
Yeah.
The costuming, I mean, the costume's okay. It's not as good as like when I did the review of the John Pertwee Big Chief Studios I did just recently. The costume design on that is phenomenal. As a matter of fact, it's too good because it caused problems, like the buttons. It took both of us and a pair of tweezers to get his coat button open.
Yeah, the costume, I think is a high. It's a
See,
lot.
that looks a little better now with
Yeah.
the sleeve pulled through. I think to cover that wrist joint.
I think it has a lot of detail, basically because of the detail in the sewing work. The thing I don't like, and I've said it before, the thing I don't like about the costumes, I wish the color was a little richer, and they used a better fabric. I know that fabric is a cheap fabric, and you can buy it in bulk at a decent price. So if you mass marketing stuff, that's good. But it's a dull color. I wish the suit was a little darker. That they took the time, since they did put in functional belt loops, that
Yeah.
they did put in a belt. And Not the Velcro. I mean, I know that's probably nitpicking, and maybe I'm
Well,
nitpicking because I sew.
even classic 60s and 70s GI Joes had snaps.
Yeah.
You know, little snaps, and they looked like real buttons.
Yeah, because that jacket and the vest, they could have used snaps. And snaps are not that hard. And it would just give it that extra detail, that extra high-end look and feel to it.
Which head do you want with this?
That one right
You want
there.
this head? Okay.
But the overall, just the costume, looking at it, if you say, okay, the detail of the costume, I think the detail is good. Like again, with the belt loop, what they did with the pockets.
But especially like right there on the pants, you can really see the Velcro. There's no way to hide that.
Yeah. So I think they attempted to do some high-end stuff, some high detail stuff.
Yeah.
But they kind of dropped the ball in other areas, so then that kind of knocks it down, because you can see the attempt, but they could have took a couple of extra steps to just make it a little better. Well, it's not standing up straight. It's like leaning to the side.
Yeah, he's leaning. You don't want him to lean?
No.
Like he's doing something?
No, and I don't want him having that gun in his hand either.
You don't want the gun in his hand?
No.
Okay, well, when we cut away, we'll let her go ahead and pose it the way she wants. And then
okay, and what about
we'll see how that looks.
The sculpt.
Overall sculpting?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's a good sculpt as far as you can look at it and know who it is.
Uh-huh.
I like what they did with the eyes. I'm positive it's not glass eyes. But
No, they put some kind of glazed paint to give it a shine.
It that reflective look, and I like that.
Yeah.
The paint looks okay. It's not like bleeding over. I've seen some sculpts where the paint is bleeding from one area to the next.
And these two are essentially the exact same head sculpt, just painted differently, by the way.
Yeah.
The one that's on the body is the different sculpt.
Yeah, because he has that smiling face. But I like the overall sculpt. I'll say the sculpt is between good and excellent, so I'll give it a 4.
Okay.
And then accessories. I think they got some nice accessories. They got a lot of hands. The cigarette is a nice touch. They did good with the gun. It's a die-cast gun. The mask actually works. It's not just something to just have. And all of the accessories go with that figure. Unlike with the Prime 1.
Prime 1 Studios statue, the accessories actually don't make very much sense.
The accessories went with the movie, but not with that particular figure. If you saw the movie, you know that scene, and the accessories does not go with that scene. The accessories go with the movie overall. So, they just gave you a lot of accessories. And this one, you got the accessories, but the accessories fit with the scene.
Yes.
Or with that outfit, because, that outfit was in a couple of scenes. But the accessories go with it. So I'll say that they did a good job. I'll give it between a multiple high and a detailed high, because again, the accessories, they work. They put in some extra effort there.
Okay.
And packing, the packing is kind of lackluster.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's minimal.
It did come in a box.
Mm-hmm.
There is no art on the box. Like, I would give a high rating to, say, Mondo, because a lot of love goes into the artwork on that box. But this is very basic. They call him Happy Face, of course, because they can't even say Joker.
Yeah, because it's a bootleg, so we got that. We understand.
But
yeah, I'll just say it's minimal.
Okay.
You got a box and you got a sleeve, basically.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and cut away, and you can pose them up to how you want it and put it where you want it, and we'll take a look. And here is our bootleg Joaquin Phoenix Joker standing up in front of the Prime One Studios Joker, which we also did a review of. Nice looking statue. Did have some issues, surprisingly, but you can see how it's like a lot richer detail in the costuming on that one and the sculpting, which I would hope, considering.
I know, for the price.
Yeah, for the price, definitely. There's Batman, 89 Batman, standing vigil. Final impressions, closing remarks?
Overall, I love the figure. I really do, because I'm a huge fan of the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I think, again, like I said, a general impression. You walk in, you see it, you're like, oh yeah, and you do some a deeper look at it. I think it fits in nicely. I wanted a 1/6 scale action figure of that. I was holding out for Hot Toys or 3-0. Neither one of them made it, but now that I have it, they will. So I'll be waiting for that still. But I do like it. I think for a bootleg, I think they did some good detail. I think they did really good work. I never had a bootleg 1/6 scale action figure.
Sure.
So for what I'm getting on my first bootleg, I'm impressed with it. I mean, I think it could hold up to a Hot Toy.
Okay.
With the detail of the sculpt and the clothing and all of that, I think they did a good job.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. Any thoughts or impressions? Feel free to post your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up, share it if you can, subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff. Check out some of our other videos for other unboxings, for toy industry discussions, for a little bit of this and that and everything in between. And all that being said, then what more can I say but thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.